Now, a lot of us care a lot about Halo, myself included, and I know everyone here is excited about the Campaign Evolved remake because it's the first new Halo experience we've had since 2021. But there's definitely an aspect about gaming that definitely gets lost in trailers and in videos online, and that's how it feels. How does the game play? And a lot of people have not had a chance to play this. Luckily, I was at HCS Seattle, where I actually had a couple times to jump in to play this demo, and I want to answer your guys' questions about this experience and does it actually live up to the high expectations of Combat Evolved. So if you guys really want to know what the first-hand experience is like playing Campaign Evolved, well, make sure you stay tuned throughout the whole video to understand all the details. We're also trying to grow this community out, guys, so any kind of likes will help out a ton, any subscribes, and of course, if you want to support the channel any more, memberships are always greatly appreciated. Helps you give you access to some special little emojis and badges and things like that in the chat. It also helps support the channel so we can become a much more sustainable endeavor out here. So thank you guys all for watching. Let's get right into it. Do you think the lack of the OG AI will be able to live up to the competency of the AI in the OG? Like, will elites be as fun to fight, etc.? And do you think Halo Studios will listen to fan feedback? It's gonna be very interesting to see how exactly it plays out. From all accounts that I've heard, that this is running off a modified version of the Halo Reach engine. So all the AI is gonna function very much like Halo Reach compared to Combat Evolved. You mix up the campaign and combat side of things here. Which to me, I mean, I didn't really notice much in the way of like that tumble roll kind of evasion kind of maneuver that we see a lot more within Combat Evolved. But basically, all the AI, a lot of the animations are from Reach. I mean, there are some ones from Halo Infinite. There are some animations from Halo 5, but for the AI, for the most part, it's going to be what Halo Reach was like. So if you like Halo Reach's AI, then you're likely going to enjoy Campaign Evolved's AI. It might not be exactly one-to-one, but it might be a little bit more in the vision of what Bungie was hoping for when it came to modifying their engine in a way to make it to where they got to the point of Halo Reach, that it was what they envisioned the AI to interact with. So there is that aspect to the whole thing. I mean, there are some new things that were added in as well, like we see in this trailer here with this gameplay. There's one point where this elite right here tries to actually board onto the vehicle. I had this happen to me when I was actually playing the demo as well. It actually caught me off guard. I'm like, I didn't know they were going to be doing that in this game. But that's one of those really cool, like, unique changes to the AI of Campaign Evolved, which I think is actually an improvement to the experience rather than just being such a one-to-one recreation. Now, do I feel like Halo Studios will actually listen to feedback? Well, I will say at the event itself, the time I had a chance to play, each table that had a console that was playing off of the Xbox Series X here did have a QR code you could scan to fill out a survey. Now, I didn't really get around to doing it just because I was so focused at the event. And pretty much every time I sat down to play the game right afterwards, I'm either talking to people or making content myself. So I just had higher priorities for myself personally. But we do know that Halo Studios are listening to the community. We have probably about a year in advance. I'm guessing it's probably going to release in like November to hit that 25th anniversary of Combat Evolved this time. I keep mixing the two now. But Halo Studios are taking feedback. They are listening. They are watching videos. I even came across plenty of developers at the event itself saying they watch my videos. I've had plenty of former developers, you know, say they come up to me and watch my videos and say that, like, I really appreciate what I do here, which is crazy to think that, like, my voice has something of a matter when it comes to Halo in some kind of capacity. But that's all thanks to you guys who watch the content here. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here right now. So I really do appreciate you guys a lot when it comes to, you know, just keeping the hype up and engagement when it comes to everything Halo, man. You guys make the Halo YouTube go round. Will there actually be distinguishable differences between character body types, like the female body type actually looking female and not a slightly slimmer male body? At least I haven't read anything about this. I don't believe there is any kind of character customization since this is just a campaign experience. So I think we're just gonna probably keep it with just Master Chief looking like Master Chief. Biochemist here has a lot of questions talking about the full sandbox list. How does aiming feel? FOV slider, and I'd say most importantly, how does it feel compared to Infinite? And did they change how any weapons work? To pick out some of your questions, when it comes to the full list of the sandbox, that has not been revealed yet. We do know that there are going to be 9 extra weapons that were not in the original Combat Evolved that are going to be added into this one. We do know about, like, the sword's going to be an option right there, the battle rifle, I've heard, and also the needle rifle. We have also heard about the sentinel beam coming in there. Also speculation of like the flamethrower that was in the PC version, the fuel rod gun that was in the PC version. Personally, I would love to see the original Halo Reach DMR. That would be such a cool little nod. It would make sense if you're on the Pillar of Autumn, you came straight from Reach. That's where you would find a weapon like that. So I think that would be pretty exciting to see. When it comes to movement, there is no slide mechanic. The sprint speed, the player movement speed felt very much like Halo Infinite in a way. The jump is very much more floaty than Halo Infinite or Halo 5, very much in line with the original Combat Evolved. Aiming also was pretty good. Felt like Halo had a bit of a weightiness to it, but still rather snappy at the same time. Though I will say it was kind of tough to really judge a lot of the movement and like these fine-tuned details that make Halo feel like Halo. Mainly because of the performance of the demo, which, I mean, again, it's an early vertical slice of the game, so I wasn't expecting 100% like feeling like it's a complete like experience. But I will say that there were a lot of frame drops, which really do affect how the game actually feels. If you're aiming for 60 frames and you're playing like 50, sometimes 45 frames when it comes to frame drops, then yeah, it's going to affect how the game actually feels. So I can't really give you a 100% certainty that like, yes, it's absolutely like Halo. But I will say from my initial experience of playing through the demo 2 times through that, yeah, it still felt like playing Halo. It didn't feel like I was playing like a different game. It was still the same experience, but that's because this is built on top of the Reach engine. So it's all the mathematics, all the equations, and all the formulas that are going to make this game simulate and run are being done in Blam, so it's still gonna feel like Halo, and just using Unreal as its like visual presentation to have that nice coat of paint over it. Now, did they change any weapons? Yeah, actually rather significantly, especially here with the assault rifle having a 32 round magazine. Now, why did they make this change? It hasn't really been very clear. I mean, I think if you're trying to recreate Combat Evolved, you would have that 60 round assault rifle. But a lot of people are speculating that there might be an SMG added into the game, which is part of those 9 weapons that are going to be put into the game, which would then fill in that role of like that short range bullet hose, which is kind of what the assault rifle really played out like in Combat Evolved. So maybe to try to give it a little bit of a difference to distinguish between this SMG and assault rifle, you go with the 32 round mag with Bloom in there as well on top of that. But it's not like Combat Evolved didn't have Bloom either. It absolutely did. It's just that, you know, it wasn't visually represented in the UI. You just kind of saw that by where your bullets were going back in the day. But it's one of those things where like, I feel like you should just have the regular assault rifle, because if you're trying to recreate that feeling of playing Combat Evolved, the 2 main weapons you need to get down are the Magnum and the AR. Now, is this a big issue for me personally? No, I never really ever used the assault rifle like going full trigger down, 60 round dump kind of experience, but you know, it's just one of those things where like it's just more iconic and more classic to the experience of Combat Evolved. But personally, it didn't really bother me a whole lot. Not really a question, but I do hope they brought back David Scully to voice Sergeant Johnson. Now, I actually have some concerns about this. Now, we did see in this roundtable discussion video about bringing back the voice actors to recreate their lines for Combat Evolved. And they specifically showcased Steve Downes, Master Chief, and Jen Taylor as Cortana revising their roles as these iconic characters, which is amazing, which is going to be some awesome fan service. People are going to love it. But you didn't see anybody else. Very interesting. Which throughout the 7-minute and 42-second runtime, which by the way, whoever's running the Halo YouTube, come on, you gotta get that 8-minute mark, man. You gotta run those ads, brother. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Jen Taylor and Steve Downes being showcased here, which is awesome. Love to see him come back. But you mean, I don't think in a video like this you would showcase every single voice actor coming back, but I just think like with this much time you're willing to give for the reveal, you would probably give like a little bit of a hint when it came to saying Sergeant Johnson coming back. Like, people would have gone wild if they just got like a simple, just little, Am I right, Marine? Sir, yes, sir. Damn right I am. So is he coming back, or is he being replaced with AI potentially? I mean, I think they might have enough data. They could potentially get away with it if they really wanted to. I mean, I think this could lead to the reason why we saw the Halo art director leave, and not seeming like on good terms either. I will say that's pure speculation, but I feel like if you're going to recreate a voice actor's lines using AI, that would be something like an art director would be not too happy about. Do you think the Halo art and graphic style fits into a photorealistic nature and UE5 setting? It looks very strange to me. I totally get where you're coming with that question, because this is the first time we've really seen Halo outside of its original custom bespoke engine, if you will, right? And so it's going to be very different to see like how the lighting hits things, or even things like little changes to the visual presentation and feedback are just going to be there because, well, it's Unreal 5. And Unreal 5 definitely has a look to it. I mean, I was talking to one of the developers at HCS. They were talking about how not necessarily forced to do it, but they are very much encouraged to utilize the new tech of like Nanite and Lumen when it comes to the different technologies of utilizing the Unreal Engine. I mean, it is kind of a bit of a sponsored bit of content for the Unreal and Epic to be able to put this out there, right? So if your game is running, if Halo is running on Unreal, you're definitely going to want people to utilize your new cool features so that you can also advertise it to other people as well. But there are some very interesting things about this demo that aren't really in the classic game. Main thing I noticed, for example, is when you're shooting at the jackal shields, they don't light up or change colors like the original games did. This could be just something that's going to be added in later, or maybe it's not going to be put in at all. Could be one of those difficulties of switching over to Unreal, that these little details like that kind of get lost in the mix because, they don't know how to truly code something like that right here, right now, because that's the biggest issue with making Halo content, is that they just need a new game like right here and right now. We don't have really much time to sit around for another 5 years, wait for another full-fledged Halo experience. But I absolutely do love this section and how it looked in Unreal, and it was this dual hunter fight right here. I love the lighting, the darkness that's actually in this game now, where even in Combat Evolved, it was more just kind of like more dimly lit, where in the Anniversary, everything was just so bright, you had no mood or vibe at all. This one doubles down, I feel like, on that darkness and that vibe of like feeling like it's really like a low power version, like abandoned kind of structures underneath the ground. Like this structure right here, I remember when I first walked in and looked at it, I'm like, wow, the way the room is illuminated looks amazing. But again, like I said, it may lose a little bit of that character that we've known from Halo because we were so familiar with how it does all its calculations, how it does all its lighting and the graphical fidelity of everything. It definitely can maybe be a little off. I mean, there definitely were aspects you can even see on the weapon right here in the game where like it has about like this grainy kind of like flickering kind of thing to it. Again, we're in early access build kind of stuff to this whole thing, so it could just be they haven't polished it up to 100%. This was just good enough to play kind of experience, which that's kind of how I felt when playing this demo. But for my experience, I actually really like it when Halo goes like this high graphical fidelity. I've always been much more of a fan of really cool looking visuals rather than like having more cartoony or more stylized kind of look. I mean, it definitely still needs to look and feel like Halo, which I feel like this is what they've absolutely done. I mean, they've also grabbed assets from Infinite, so like some of the grunts and the elites and stuff like that are from Infinite, if I remember correctly. And so there are some aspects of that game that are in here as well to still maintain that visual presentation of what Halo is supposed to look like. And so I'm not too weirded out by it being in Unreal. I think it still looks like Halo. It still feels like Halo. It still plays like Halo. It just has a different kind of lighting texture, a little bit of different texturing to it. Some of the little details, and maybe some of the physics maybe might be a little different since it is a modified Reach engine rather than being like the straight from Combat Evolved when it comes to that engine version of the Blam engine. But again, we'll have to wait and see until we get more time into it. This is going to be one of those things where we really will have to wait and see until like we actually get more time with the game to really understand, like, is there really that much of a difference? I've heard some people say they're not too happy about it kind of losing like its visual style in a way, which I don't know. I still feel like it's there. I mean, I'm looking at this, it still looks like Halo to me. I think it's kind of more one of those topics for one of those really dedicated fans out there, the hardcore fan base. I want things like exactly one-to-one that might not be super happy with the presentation of it. But I think for the general gaming audience, they're going to look at this and go like, wow, Halo has come really far in 25 years. This looks amazing. If this game is successful, do you think they will also do remakes of Halo 2 and 3, or they only remaking CE for the 25th anniversary? Well, look it for you. I have an entire video right here talking exactly about that. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.